we both know it. Starting these businesses and trying to get it put together. I mean, there's a lot of frustration and a lot of emotion into it, just because of, man, you don't have nothing. You can't get nothing. You just need a little help, and nobody wants to help you.
You wonder why it's not working.
And then it's nice to have family in there because unfortunately, you take all your frustration out on them, and you expect them to take it, and it's kind of unfair. But Sterling and I, we had to make a rule that we couldn't have fist fights at the office anymore. And
does that happen?
Not since we made that rule.
At home, that's a good rule. Somewhere else.
Yeah. We can do it somewhere else. We just can't do it at the office.
I hit Zach one time,
and I've hit Marty one time. We scared the shit out of me after I hit Marty. After I hit Marty, like the Step Brothers. Yeah. The one time I hit Marty, I hit him pretty good, and I was like, oh shit, I screwed up. I could tell
we got into a fight with some old boy one time, and he was messing with Zach, and I shoved, and this guy flies, lands on his back, and he gets up, and I'm laughing like I was drunk. Y'all see that shit? And I turn around. When I turn, he just smokes me. Mm-hmm. And I just stand there, and Zach goes, "You fucked up."
This is in the middle of Highway 380.
Yeah, very best.
I forgot about that.
I walked in one time. I guess we're not off topic. This is working with brothers.
There is no topic.
I was in college, probably a freshman. We come back, and I brought one of my roommate. And we went hunting and I'm drinking and we had fun. We come back in the morning. He was in high school. He had some buddies over, stayed the night. One of them stayed at my bed. Mm-hmm. I was pissed off. I went in there and I had my spotlight. I guess I walked in, set it on the table, and I pushed my buddy onto his bed when he was in there. And he got up and was pissed off and was like, hey, whatever. He came in there. He wasn't fucking no better than that.
Yeah.
He was chasing my ass and he grabbed my spotlight. That spotlight was like pride and joy. It got me in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
And I love that thing. He swung it by the cord and hit me, and I just left hooked. And he's bleeding, and I hear Mom come in the room just, what the hell y'all doing?
Mother used to have some pretty white carpet in the living room. And I was just bleeding.
Pretty white. Used to have pretty white.
Yeah, used to. It's gone now.
Or not as white.
We got wood now.
I like throwing rights, but I threw a left for just little deal, and it just bust his lip. And Mom was like, you were drunk or something. Idiot. She was not happy. You hit your brother and all this shit. Because we never really got in fights. I mean,
we always had a rule, like, you can hit me anywhere but the crotch and the face.
But still, teeth are expensive.
Yeah.
Little rib shots?
Just rib shots and wrestling and whatever.
I like,
The problem is when Sterling started losing, he stopped abiding by the rules.
I've never lost my players.
Yeah, you started hitting me in the face. Or just straight nut shots.
Back to working together. How's that now? No fist fights in the office, but like outside of that.
Man, we stood by that rule, and it's improved a lot. We did that in 2019. It's kind of when we decided, hey, we can't do that.
It's a long time.
And I don't know how many employees y'all have, but we have 17.
We have one.
So it was not a good look, doing that in front of a number of employees and stuff. And anyways, I mean, it's been really climbed. That little strategy for ours kind of brought us up to where we work pretty good together now. And, and I know, what pushes your brother's buttons, right? I mean, you know what to say to him to piss him off.
Yeah.
Any moment. And so, I just got to hold my tongue, when I know I'm pissed at Harrison, not to use the words that sting so much.
I don't know Zach talks shit and I talk shit to him, but I don't know. We don't really push anybody too hard. I mean, Jake sometimes. I got on his ass this morning.
Well, this morning.
But that's just coffee to him,
Marty said, "Take the sockets. Go change them." Don't get me wrong. I called Zach. He's not even right sockets.
I plowed late last night.
Marty bitched at me. He's like, "You're a fucking idiot." Right, come look at it. They're not the right sockets. You got that there wrong.
I said, "There's sockets in the pickup in that box. Take the impact and go." And he was like, "None of the right sockets are in here." I was like, go find them then. Shit, I don't know. Me and Zach are doing something else.
For Sterling, we had to really sit down and go, all right, we gotta figure this out, because we knew we didn't want a career without each other in it. And it's like, all right, well, and a lot of it is just throwing the pride over the shoulder. And I hate when people say, well, you know how working with brothers is. Well, maybe you're not throwing your pride over the shoulder, because there's sometimes that I'm wrong and there's sometimes that Sterling's wrong, believe it or not. And, it's just one of those scenarios of, well, maybe we can just figure out a way and just move on past it.
Yeah, and it sounds like you like taking risks, and you're a little more risk averse in some scenarios, like the story you just told,
Yeah.
And that's kind of like how Harrison and I are. I mean, I'm more risk averse, and he's like, no, let's do it. Like, we're going to fail. Let's fail young.
As long as we can agree, fail young. We can start over.
Marty actually likes to push the limit a lot more than I do, but I like to always have that forward motion. He'll come up with some crazy ideas.
I come up with,
Marty's got some wild ideas, and then, he'll forget about them.
Yeah.
Like, the greatest plan ever. And I gotta ride his ass to make it happen. But he's got
Zach pushes, and someone's got to stay on your ass, and
for us,
he does that for us.
The New Holland dealership was me. The Sandy dealership was Sterling. And for Sterling, one day he just come to me and he's like, we're going to apply for this dealership and this dealership and this dealership. And I'm like, where did this joker come from? Because he was risk averse. And he's like, we finally got a little money in our pockets. Like,
time to do something.
Let's go do it.
Yeah.
And he's right. Now it's kind of getting reversed roles, where I'm starting to get a little bit more risk averse in some things, and he's taking a little bit more risk.
No doubt.
Well, if you look at the bank account every once in a while, Harrison, you can look at your tolerance.
That's what I tell Marty too. I said, Marty, go sit in front of the computer for a little while and try to put together a plan.
Yeah.
No, back to what you said. We're young right now, so none of us are married or have kids. Right now is the time to fail. And that's a terrible way to look at it.
No, it's a great way to look at it.
But, if I can afford to screw up or to have that failure, put it all on the line, put it all on the line and not,
absolutely.
Right now is the time to do it because nobody's depending on us.
Well, it's also delayed gratification.
My dad always used to say, he said, you'll never find that. He's like, you don't think about it. And I mean, exactly what you're saying. Before I was married, before I had my first kid, everything in my head was, I got to get all this done before I can even do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
that's where I'm sitting.
Where I wanted to be, where I thought I should be before I was married, I'm still not there, but I've knocked off a lot of goals with my girlfriend and then my wife, right? And I'm knocking off more goals now that I have a kid. And my dad just says, you think you work hard now. He's like, when you got 2 more mouths to feed, you work even harder. He's like, I made some of the most money I've ever made in my life when I had kids living in my house. And he's like, you don't know where that money goes after you make it, but you make it because you don't have a choice. You find another gear. And I've kind of found that to be pretty true. You get real creative on ways.
So you'd say it gets better?
My wife significantly improved my life when I met her.
Really?
I'm sitting in about a boat beside that.
I will say Audrey's pretty cool.
She is.
Makes my life
And
better, and I want to be better before I get to that situation.
You want to have Malcolm and Susan?
Well, you will. I mean,
you can if you want to.
Like I said, if when you're picking out a partner, and I hate to get on talking about girlfriends and wives and stuff, but I don't know. It's an important part of your life if you're a businessman, is because that's an extension of yourself, really.
Yeah.
So
and it's also whoever he picks to marry is also y'all's business partner.
Yeah.
That's no doubt.
And it goes back.
I'll
to
let him know if I don't approve.
I know it's like a cowboy and ranching deal, but it's like your partner's got to want to ride for the brand, and that brand is y'all and your brand, and that all has to coexist together. I wanted to tell this story earlier about fighting. This story ain't about me. It's just I saw it happen, and it's one of the funniest stories. We were in Lubbock in college. I couldn't have been a sophomore or junior. And at Tech, I had a pretty big main friend group, but there was sub friend groups around that friend group that would party together before we all turned 21, and then we all just kind of go to bars, whatever, to house parties. And there's one old boy, he's a good friend of mine still. At his house, he would throw these big house parties, and there would be 200, 250 people at any given night from a Thursday through Saturday.
Any day of the week.
Yeah, I mean, there was always someone there, something happened. And this was like, it always seemed like the most fights were the first 2 or 3 weeks of
The year.
Yeah. Like, I think, all these boys been out working all summer. And
what week do they call that shit? Syllabus?
Hell
Syllabus week.
Syllabus week.
I don't know. I was
Oh
just
my
going to
gosh. We'd come off the farm and go
Yeah.
to tech. I mean,
Yeah,
I didn't
and
go
everybody
much,
gets
but-
around some women for the first time.
Oh,
Hotel,
shit,
like,
paper
everybody's
sticking
just,
out.
like been at the bars, just ready to
Debo.
go. And so
Jake.
I'll never forget. There's like 100-something people at this house party. It's like first week before school or right in middle school or something. And this Duramax pulls up, Jack Duramax, and there's like 8 freaking dudes in it. They all get out. And they're like pulled up on the street and they get out and they go into the lawn. And this one boy, he goes, "Where's m-?" And we're going to have to bleep that name out. "Where's m-?" And my buddy is standing right beside me. And now he's in the Army and like, paratrooper, something like that.
Army
He's Army Ranger. He's about 6'4", at the time, probably like 250, 260 pounds, big dude. And he has a pearl snap on. He rips the pearl snaps off and he goes, he just love to fight. And like these 6 or 7 dudes, they just go out there and it's
Brass
like,
knuckles.
They got brass knuckles on. And gets underneath them, a few of them, And this one little dude with brass knuckles just clacks his ass, and he's like, "Sterling, help!" I was like, "You said you were a guy that you weren't." I'm not even jumping in here. You did this to
But what's
yourself.
funny is the guy that
deserved it.
owned the
Yeah.
house, the kid that owned the house, he comes out and he's real fucked up, and he hits this guy, and then he's like, the other guy goes, cock back to him and goes, no, I won. That's not how that works. And he got beat.
This doesn't end right here.
Yeah.